It's Youth Month, and we figure it's time to celebrate the young people in this country that we are looking upon to take this country forward. Now, someone who has done so exceptionally well, he even got a standing ovation at his graduation. I'm talking about 21-year-old Siyabonga Khumalo, who graduated from UKZN with a Bachelor of Social Science degree, summa cum laude, collecting an incredible 21 distinctions, 14 certificates of merit, and 6 Dean's commendations along the way. Now, he was born with sclerosis and dwarfism, and he stands at 102 centimeters tall. And let's just say he hasn't let the physical challenges stop him from chasing his dreams and, of course, accomplishing all he has. Now, he's supposed to be in studio with us today, but he's gotten a little lost, coming all the way from Maritzburg. Siyabonga, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, we are good. We are good. I believe you got a little lost this morning, but we will get you to studio because I need to physically meet you. I need to do that.
Yes, we'll definitely be heading there shortly.
Oh, my goodness. So talk to me about this accomplishment. I mean, you were born with dwarfism and scoliosis. Am I saying it right? Scoliosis?
Yes, scoliosis, yes.
Scoliosis, that's correct. And that didn't stop you in collecting 21 distinctions and all the accolades that I've mentioned. Talk to me about how you were able to do that. You know, it's incredible.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. Yes, indeed. It's such an incredible achievement for me. You know, even now it still, feels like a dream. You know, when I reflect back, I just see the proof of consistency, discipline, when resilience. It's all about, pouring in the hours in discipline, having to do what you have to do even when you don't want to. With a great mentality. And if you know that you've got a certain goal, you've set out for yourself and you are ambitious enough to strive for it, you can actually reach and strive for that excellence.
Yeah, that is incredible. And as you walked across that stage and everybody applauded and stood up and gave you a standing ovation, what did that mean to you?
Oh, that ovation was such an incredible thing. In that very moment, I wasn't just Siyabonga the student, but I was like Siyabonga the son, the mentor, the peer educator. I was like an individual, this young man who had carried, both dwarfism and scoliosis with dignity. So, for me, being there on the stage, actually, I got to see a gang that deserved recognition. That applause wasn't only for academic excellence, but for me, it was for resilience, it was for discipline, it was for refusal to settle for mediocrity. So I just felt, that sense of gratitude, that deep sense of responsibility to inspire others for me.
Oh, my goodness. You just hit every nerve in my bone when you said a deep sense of gratitude and a deep sense of inspiring others. For someone who doesn't understand, what is dwarfism? What is scoliosis? What are those conditions that you are living with?
So basically, dwarfism refers to a short stature. So basically referring to your height, meaning it's basically you are short in height. And then now with scoliosis, basically refers to the curvature of the spine, when the spine is deformed, and is not like normally or properly developed like in other individuals. So such conditions that basically impacted me, with dwarfism, meaning now you can't stand or walk for long distances, getting tired easily. So those are the kind of, challenges that comes with it.
I see. Welcome, Siyabonga, welcome.
Finally, a very good morning, Sanbonan. Mr. Khumalo is in the house.
Hey, I love that.
The devil is a liar, but we made it through.
We made it through. I love it. Listen, we spoke briefly on the phone when you're trying to navigate your way into the city and into East Coast Radio. Now you're here.
It was hectic.
It was hectic, but you're here. You dressed to the nines. I love it. As Andy said, cute shoes.
Drip forever.
Drip forever. That is it. Now, talking about drip, you had 21 distinctions. I mean, how do you get 21 distinctions? Let's start there. How do you do it?
Yeah. With discipline, with consistency,
Yeah.
with time management, with prioritizing. It's not something that you just do, in a day's work. Takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
A lot of sacrifices. So for me, it was discipline. Doing what you have to do even when you don't like it.
Yeah.
Putting in the hours. And I know for some people it's normally, they study, closer to the exam day. It's what they do. A lot of work, they cross nights and all. But for me, that doesn't work because I just believe that in order to make sure that you put your all effort and you strive for excellent results, you should start, bit by bit. So what I will do is that daily, I'll have like a 3-hour session, study sessions, recapping the work that I've done for that entire day. So every day, by going through that work, you kind of encoding, and then it remains, get instilled in your memory. So by the time exam comes, you are just merely recapping. So I think starting early, managing your time, being able to balance your work. So I think all that builds up to these wonderful results that one really receives at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Now tell me, you spoke about how your mom played such an important role in you being the man that you are today and the accomplishments. Let's give mommy her flowers. Go ahead.
She has been a brilliant support structure. Her love for education and ensuring that she sees through my education and that I am able to be independent, to self-sustain myself through education. So she has always ensured us, throughout the journey of my education, she will be there, especially now, to an extent at UKZN when I got there, as you know, I did mention briefly earlier, with dwarfism, it's quite hectic to move from one area to another due to distance, getting tired easily. And the lecture venues on campus, they're so distant from one another.
Right.
So now she was there. What she did is that she will literally carry me on her shoulders from one lecture venue to another.
Wow.
She would wait outside up until I'm done. And then once I'm done, we move on to the next one. That was before I got my motorized wheelchair. Because now since I was using NSFAS, you are able to apply for those assistive devices. But before that, she will literally, I think for almost the entire first year, that's just what will happen, waiting for me, finish attending, and then moving on to another lecture. So that is why I did mention, this degree is naturally owed to her, because Young Elite degree, all these accolades, all these dean's commendation, they have her fingerprints of resilience, of love, and sacrifices.
That is so beautiful. So you're saying, and as me being me, when I was on campus, it was not even a thing that I would walk from one lecture hall to another, because it's far.
Yeah.
One lecture hall, political science is this side, journalism is that side. And I never would have thought that is something for someone like you living with dwarfism was a setback. And step in mom, who carried you literally on her shoulders for the first year before you got your wheelchair.
Yeah.
It's remarkable that was one of the challenges that I wouldn't have faced, but you did.
Yeah.
What are other challenges that all the other students don't experience, but because of the two disabilities that you have, you've had to somehow find a way through?
So, I can say I have been very fortunate, when it comes to challenges. I can say, beside accessibility, when coming into the venues, you'll find there's one lecture venue, maybe on a certain day, the elevator is broken.
Oh, no.
Now, basically, now you have to, because now I can't use the stairs, on attending. So for me, it was more of those accessibility issues, But more than that, I have been driving there. It has been a very supporting and conducive environment at my institution. So I think I can say, except for accessibility, Nakona, it is a thing that they are working on, and I'm seeing improvement. Most of my buildings, they are accessible whenever we report they fix this into. So it wasn't much of a challenge besides here and there.
Besides here and there. Now, you're a young man. You're 21 years old. You have this incredible distinctions. 21, summa cum laude, all of them over 80%. Young people of today, what do you think are their biggest challenges? Because you clearly have overcome some of the greatest ones.
So for me, I think it all has to start with a mindset. A mindset of winning. I don't know, but most people now, it seems like for them, it's just doing this thing for the sake of doing it, especially in education, getting this degree, getting this job, and then just moving on with life. And also, being ambitious, being goal-driven. I think those are some of the aspects that most people don't have. For them, it's just, okay, my parents said I need to go to school, I need to do this and that, and then they just do it, they pass on.
Right.
But I think if you are goal-driven, if you are ambitious, if you know what I'm telling myself, I want to reach that end goal, and this is what I have to do in order to get there. So that just makes things much more easier, and it's much more engaging. Because now, if you're just going to do a degree for the sake of doing it, even the efforts that you put in there won't be the same as someone who is ambitious enough for that thing, who loves it. So I think when it comes to even, the support structures, that most individuals, as much as they have families, but some of them, they are not so engaged on their child's education. So things like that, having someone who will say, I see you, I see your recognition, I see your efforts. Such encouragement, they keep the students going. So such things, I think, needs to be looked at.
I love that. And what would you say are the biggest hurdles that you overcome? You spoke about the accessibility. What other hurdles? I mean, did you experience bullying? Did you experience people underestimating you? And how did you overcome that? Pick one and just unpack how you overcome that.
So, with regards to that, I have to say, and disclose, I have been very fortunate. Right from my era where I grew up in Mutsu, Makaka area, I grew up in such a very conducive, supportive, interconnected community. In a sense, there has never been any side-eye, any frowning upon discrimination. They have been so loving, having great support structures. Even my education, all the teachers were so supportive in grooming this confident orator that I am. So I can say for me, they have built up this man that I am today through their support. So for me, I know for another person, they might be like, maybe in my area, certain people might have discriminated or having those side comments. But for me, it has been amazing. Right from primary school, Mampunga, moved on to Sarel Cilias, very supportive, ensuring that, my needs were accommodated. So I think God has been grateful in ensuring that my path, is always clear, in ensuring that although, as I've mentioned, accessibility issues, but regardless or except those challenges, it has been amazing, the support I've been getting from various structures.
Oh, that is incredible. And where to from here? 21 distinctions, standing ovation at graduation. What does a guy with 21 distinctions do next? Where are we going?
Gushubi. So currently I'm enrolled for my honors in psychology. So I'm hoping to complete it this year, because now the end goal is being a clinical psychologist. So now, after that, I'm busy with the application of my master's as we're speaking. So next year is to do my master's completely, then register as an independent practitioner. And maybe 5 or 10 years down the line, I come back again for my PhD.
Doctor is loading. Okay. I love that. And tomorrow is Youth Day. It's a big day, and it's very sad to hear the amount of unemployed graduate youth in South Africa. The number is staggering. It pains me to hear these numbers. As young people get into varsity this year, many of them don't know as they graduate the end of the journey whether they'll even get opportunities. What are your words of encouragement to young people like yourselves who've just graduated and now they're looking for work and it's just not happening?
So I can say, my word of the day, pending Youth Day, will be that yes, I do acknowledge there will be challenges, whether physically, whether financially, whether socially. I mean, it's a reality we can't dispute. But now, at the end of the day, it's all about, as I've mentioned earlier, developing a winning mindset, developing a mindset that can sustain you through adversity. So knowing and exploring various opportunities, despite I've got a BSc in mathematics, but then that BSc is not working for you at the moment. So what can I do as an alternative? So having that and being ambitious enough, grabbing every opportunity you can get. Because now in this economy, if I can say you have to wait, or maybe you wait for a position in where you qualified, that can take some time. So instead of sitting at home, see what you can do. I always try and see how I can develop myself, going through those online courses. There are free courses, and just saying, okay, skills that I can update, Excel or what's those free courses. Do those things, because they will come in handy. There will be an opportunity that will not directly require your profession where you were trained, your specialization, but having those other skills, engaging in community services, those things. I mean, there are challenges, but all that we have to do is to develop this kind of resilient mindset, this kind of a positive outlook of trying every time to finding ways or different paths that we can navigate and better develop ourselves.
My goodness. Siyabonga Khumalo. Geez, it was an absolute pleasure having you in studio. 21 years old, and to go with 21, you've also got 21 distinctions.
Mr. 21 to 21.
Mr. 21, 14 certificates of merit, 16 commendations along the way, and you've done this all, born with sclerosis and dwarfism, standing at 102 centimeters tall. You are disciplined, you have shown determination, and you are the youth of tomorrow. Thank you for joining us in studio, and I wish you all the best. I can't wait to have you back in that chair when you are Dr. Khumalo, but not the soccer one, the other Dr. Khumalo.
And definitely he'll be back.
He'll be back.
Yes.
Thank you so much. That's the incredible Siyabonga Khumalo in studio. An incredible conversation ahead of Youth Day tomorrow.
Carol Ofori.